Welcome back to the channel. It's been a while since I made a video, so I thought we'd kick off the winter season with a shop tour. I'll do a quick scan right now of the shop, and then we'll look at some of the individual pieces of equipment. As always, thanks for watching. This is Bob Jennings from the WoodPile. Come along with me on my wood turning journey as we dream it, think it, sketch it, turn it, sand it, finish it, post it. Well, welcome and come on into the shop. The first thing you're going to see is a Max air compressor. This is a single horsepower, 120 volt, and it puts out 6 cubic feet per minute at 100 psi. And I've hard piped air throughout the building so that I have quick connects along the route. Above the air I have electrical conduit, and similar to the air connections, I have electrical outlets along the bench. I'm occasionally asked how much power supply I have to the shop. So I have 240 feed and a total of 115 amps. This is my 18-inch Laguna bandsaw. It's 240 volt, 4 horsepower. It has a foot brake, which is a nice feature, and the fence is totally adjustable to allow for blade drift. Every shop needs a fridge for cold drinks, but save the cold beer until after you've shut down all the equipment. A feature of my shop that I particularly like is this 36-foot long workbench. I've incorporated equipment and tool storage underneath, and both the planer and the miter saw are built in so that I've got full-length boards can fit on either side and be fed through. This is my 13-inch DeWalt planer. I upgraded the standard 3 knife set with a bird helical head. This is my miter saw. It's a 12-inch Hitachi sliding compound, laser guided, and it has digital readout for both angle and tilt. I built an enclosure around it to try to minimize some of the dust and chips that come off, but as you know, miter saws are notorious for spewing out a lot of mess. This is my dust collector. It's a super dust gorilla. It's 240 volt, 3 horsepower, and it pulls in 1800 cubic feet per minute. I have 8-inch and 6-inch duct spread throughout the shop with pickups at all my major equipment. The Tormac T7 is the main tool that I use for sharpening my lathe tools, but when I want to remove a lot of material from a tool, I'll switch over to an 8-inch bench grinder. I have several dollies and carts in the shop. They're all on wheels so that I can move them out of the way if necessary. This particular cabinet holds the vacuum chuck and vacuum pump for my Vicmarc lathe. There are a lot of great wood lathes out there. I chose to go with a Vicmarc VL300 with a short bed, and then I put a bed extension on it. Wood storage is always a problem in any shop. I chose to store my planks horizontally like this, and then I have these cubbies for my cutoffs and smaller pieces. Every shop needs a clamp cart. This is one I built to hold the various clamps that I have. Smaller ones on the front, and the longer ones for cabinets and so forth are on the back. You can never have enough clamps. This is the first bandsaw that I purchased, and I upgraded it with my 18-inch Laguna. But I decided to keep this one rather than sell it because I can put a small blade in it and use it for smaller pieces and tighter contours. This one has a 5-inch riser block. It's a 14-inch, and with the riser block I can cut fairly big pieces, but mostly it's for smaller detailed stuff. This is a little machine shop high torque 5100. It's a 7x16 inch metal lathe, and I know you're wondering what's a metal lathe doing in a wood shop, but occasionally I will augment a wood turning or a wood piece with some metal work. As a rule, I try to separate metal and woodwork so you don't get metal filings in your woodworking equipment. And subsequently, my major metal equipment like welders and grinders and so forth, they're in a different shop. But this little machine shop, high torque, fits nicely in this particular spot of my shop. This is my Laguna 8-inch joiner. It's got a 78-inch bed, and it's equipped with a helical head similar to my joiner. It's 240 volts, and it has a 2 horsepower motor. This is my general belt sander. It's a 6-inch by 89-inch belt. It's 240 volts and 1.5 horsepower. Rather than run another header from my dust collector over to that equipment, all I do is run a 4-inch hose from my router outlet across the floor to either the belt sander or the joiner, and I have another outlet that can go to my sanding table, which will take dust from my spindle sander and from my 12-inch disc sander. This is my general spindle sander. It sits on top of this table, and then right beside it is a 12-inch disc sander. And an item that's stored on top of this sanding table is my Vicmarc VOD oval turning device. This thing is quite heavy, so it's convenient to move it from this sanding table right over to my Vicmarc lathe. This little cart is my spray booth. I have a small little 4-foot by 4-foot tent that I can drop down over it, and I'll spray projects in here. I have a Lemner HVLP turbine spray system, which is great for water-based coatings, but I don't spray any solvent-based ones. This is a general drill press. It's only a 1/2-inch horse. It's rather underpowered, but for most of my woodworking stuff, it's just fine. Move over to the router table. I've got a Jessam router table with a Jessam router lift, and I have a Hitachi 3 horsepower router that's underneath the table. This is my general 24-inch drum sander. It's a single drum, and it's 240 volts, and it's 2 horsepower. Of course, the center of any shop is the table saw. This is my run-out table. It's equipped with Craig hold downs. It's about 6 feet long and 3 feet wide, so I can handle pretty large sheets on it if required. I've got a 24-inch vise on the end. And then here's my Magnum 3 horsepower table saw. It's a 10-inch blade. It's got a 54-inch outfeed table on the right-hand side. I've put storage underneath it. And this is an upgrade from a smaller table saw that I had in the past, but this turned out to be a nice fit for my shop. You can see the extent of the dust collection that I have throughout my shop. I try to have pickups at major equipment, and if I can control the dust at the source, it goes a long ways towards keeping my shop clean and myself a little healthier. I also have a large overhead air cleaner with electrostatic filters. This is the JDS AirTech, and it'll do 6 air exchanges per hour in my shop. So when I'm handling dusty materials, MDF or other fine dust particles, I'll run this for a couple hours and it'll really help clean up the air. Well, thanks so much for coming along the shop tour. If you have any questions about the equipment, power supplies, etc., just leave a note in the comments below. Thanks again for watching, take care, and we'll see you in the next video.